Now at 5:30, police are looking for 2 people after an overnight crash in Lexington. We have details of what happened just ahead.
Also on WKYT, a group is warning schools not to go on field trips to the new Ark Encounter Park. The reason why coming up this morning.
And a Mercer County woman is pleading that the people who stole her dogs return them. We'll hear from her ahead on WKYT this morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning to you and welcome in to WKYT. Here we are bright and early on your Wednesday, middle of the week now. I'm Bill Bryant.
I'm Rebecca Smith. I don't know about bright, but I know early.
You're right, not quite bright yet. It'll get there though. And right now, this time of summer, you still start to see those hints of early daylight anyway. Should be a pretty good day. Let's check in with Micah, see what the weather holds.
Hey, yeah, I would say now through about roughly noontime, give or take, is when you can expect a small chance of rain. So there is that possibility outside that we're going to see a few blips here and there. You're already seeing that down toward the southeast. And when I say blips, I'm talking about a couple of showers, and that's about it. Heading toward actually the radar down toward the National Weather Service there in Breathitt County and Jackson. So there's not much going on, but there is a slight chance down toward the southeast that you'll pick up a passing shower. Temperatures are in the upper 60s to lower 70s. We'll go through the day. Remember, now through about roughly noontime, it's actually your best chance of rain, and even that is only 30%. So only 30% of the region can expect that passing shower or thunderstorm. Now, once we get into the afternoon, still looks to be mainly dry, and that's some good news. We'll talk about that. I'll show you these steamy conditions and when the storms arrive tomorrow, because those could be strong. And I'll have that coming up.
Okay, we'll see you. And here's what's happening right now. Police are looking for 2 people this morning after an overnight crash in Lexington.
They say 2 different drivers lost control. One crashed into a house, another crashed into a parked vehicle. And WKYT's Mark Barber is live for us with more on a look into this.
Good morning, Rebecca. While the 2 drivers who took off after the hit-and-run crash are long gone, it will take quite a while for the homeowner to pick up the damage that they left behind. Take a look. A car crashed into a concrete porch, knocking over a support column on a house on Whitney Avenue around 1 o'clock this morning. Fortunately, firefighters say the home does not have structural damage. Officers say the driver of a Chrysler 300 caused this messy scene. The driver of the car sped off on Georgetown Street after they crashed into a van and then hit the house. That van smashed into a 3rd car that was parked outside another home. The driver of the van also ran off, leaving the van sitting in the yard. Police are still searching for both drivers this morning. If you know where they might be and if you know anything about the hit-and-run crash, police here at their headquarters in downtown Lexington want to hear from you. Live in Fayette County, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Funeral services will begin today in Texas for the Dallas police officers who were killed in the line of duty last week.
Yesterday, President Barack Obama was among those who eulogized the men at an interfaith memorial service while trying to reassure the country that racial divisions are not getting worse. Don Champion has the latest from Dallas.
As funerals for 3 of the 5 Dallas officers ambushed begin today, President Obama will meet with law enforcement and civil rights leaders to discuss ways to repair the bonds of trust. Tuesday, during a public memorial service, the president applauded the fallen officers for their bravery and sacrifice.
These men and their families shared a commitment to something larger than themselves.
The president then addressed fears gripping a nation caught in a bitter debate over policing after the killings of 2 black men. He made a plea for common ground.
Surely we should be able to hear the pain of Alton Sterling's family, just as we should hear the students and co-workers describe their affection for Philando Castile.
People without tickets to the Interfaith Memorial Service gathered around Dallas in a show of solidarity.
Over the last couple of days, I felt that the community has grown much stronger.
We have a lot of work to do, but it's not impossible.
Former President George W. Bush had a message for the officers' families.
Your loss is unfair. We cannot explain it. We can stand beside you and share your grief.
This moving image from the memorial service shows the daughter of one of the slain officers giving a bracelet to another, a symbol of their father's ultimate sacrifice. Don Champion, CBS News, Dallas.
Well, officers Lauren Ahrens, Michael Smith, and DART officer Brent Thompson will be laid to rest today. Police say they have broken up an alleged plot to hurt police officers in the Baton Rouge, Louisiana area. During a news conference yesterday, investigators say they discovered the plot while looking into a burglary at a pawn shop. They say the suspects stole multiple handguns during the burglary. Police made 3 arrests so far. They're looking for a 4th suspect. This comes after police officers shot and killed Elton Sterling in Baton Rouge last week. It was caught on tape.
Well, Bernie Sanders has formally endorsed former Democratic rival Hillary Clinton for president. The endorsement came yesterday morning while the two were campaigning in New Hampshire just 2 weeks before the Democratic National Convention. At a rally in Indiana last night, Donald Trump said that Sanders' endorsement will actually help his campaign. He says a lot of Bernie Sanders supporters are so upset about it, they'll vote for him. Trump also says he has now narrowed his list of vice presidential candidates down to 2 people, and he expects to make his running mate announcement on Friday. New this morning, for the second time in the last week, the U.S. Capitol and other buildings in its complex were put on lockdown. The lockdown happening yesterday afternoon. Investigators say it came after reports of a man with a gun in the area. They say Washington, D.C. police were chasing a car at a nearby tunnel when one of the people inside jumped out and ran off. Police say they later arrested him along with 2 others. No one was injured, and the lockdown was later lifted. A group has sent around warnings to hundreds of school districts not to visit the new Ark Encounter Park in northern Kentucky. Michelle Chamberlain is at our alert desk with some details about that warning.
The group, the Freedom from Religion Foundation, says school field trips to the park violates the constitutional separation of church and state. Now, the group says it sent warning letters to thousands of school districts in Kentucky and in neighboring states. Kentucky's education commissioner has told schools that neither outside groups or state education leaders should dictate field trip selection. The Ark Encounter in Williamstown, Kentucky features a full-size Noah's Ark, and it opened last week. Rebecca?
Michelle. Well, after spending days in the hospital, a woman hit by an SUV during a Lexington burglary is sharing her story with us. For Chessie Spangler and her husband Brian, it all started early Saturday morning when their home on Sandersville Road was broken into. The Spanglers rushed outside to stop the burglar from stealing their car. But as Brian Spangler pointed a shotgun at the man, an SUV came right up out of nowhere. Chessie Spangler says she remembers neighbors rushing to help as she lay on the ground bleeding.
And I think I even asked her, am I going to die? And she said, no, baby, you're not going to die. You're going to be just fine.
Well, Chessie has 3 fractured vertebrae and a cut on her head. Police say the SUV that hit her was stolen. They are still looking for those 2 suspects who were involved.
2 people are facing charges this morning after investigators say they found 2 young children alone in a Franklin County home. The Franklin County Sheriff says it started when a deputy stopped a car for driving recklessly. The sheriff says the driver, Chelsea Sutherland, gave police permission to search the car. Deputies say they found meth, a gun, and a knife inside. The sheriff says the investigation then led deputies to Sutherland's home, where they say they found her 3- and 4-year-old children alone.
You've got these young children who don't have a choice. They don't have a choice about what to do, where they are, and you've got parents and family members that are more concerned without getting high.
Deputies arrested both Sutherland and her passenger, Christopher Green. They say the children are now with a family member.
A Mercer County woman's asking for help finding 2 of her puppies. She says the dogs were stolen from her home in Harrodsburg sometime in the last few days. She says she won't press charges. She just wants those puppies back.
Please, that's all I ask you. Bring my 2 puppies back. Because I never take nothing that don't belong to me. And I wish you wouldn't. And bring them back to me. Because them dogs are just like my kids now.
Harrisburg police say the thieves may be a group of preteen boys. They're asking parents that if their children brought home a puppy, make sure it wasn't one of those 2 that were stolen.
A bank in West Liberty has reopened its main office more than 4 years after a tornado destroyed it. Commercial Bank was among the businesses damaged or destroyed when a tornado tore through Morgan County in March of 2012. This week, the bank's new office opened on Main Street in West Liberty. City leaders say it's another sign of progress for West Liberty.
Well, we have seen the construction for such a long time, and a lot of hard work and planning has come through, and it just means that downtown is starting to revitalize again.
Bank leaders say the building is state-of-the-art, even drawing some of its heating and cooling from geothermal wells. A grand opening celebration at the bank is going to be held on July 30th. Voters in Breathitt County have approved alcohol sales during a special election yesterday. The yes side won by a margin of 58% to 42%. This means restaurants and other businesses in Breathitt County will soon be allowed to sell alcohol.
Well, a popular python snake named Monty that came to the Louisville Zoo in 1981 has been euthanized. The zoo says the 13-foot, 38-year-old Burmese python was losing weight after being diagnosed with lymphoma. Pythons, like Monty, are constrictors, so they have no fangs. They are native to southern China, Burma, and Thailand. Today, Ale 1 Bottling Company celebrates its 90th anniversary. In honor of the anniversary, the company will be selling a limited edition poster featuring a timeline of the classic Ale 8 bottle. You can buy that online or at their gift shop on Carroll Road in Winchester. They'll also be bringing back a popular t-shirt from the 80s featuring a squirrel. I love any kind of 80s memorabilia. Oh, love it.
Yeah, that was a good one. They had an old jingle, pour on the fun, grab some L81.
Oh, nice.
Congratulations to that fine
cool.
Kentucky business
Cool.
reaching that milestone. All right, our time is 5:41, and let's check live drive traffic this morning and see what is going on out there.
You know, not hearing of any traffic issues out there or problems. Here's a live look at the map. Everything looking good, reflecting that. And here's a look at the Fayette Urban County Government's live drive cam. This one at Leestown and Citation.
All right, good and quiet so far. No reports of trouble. We'll let you know if we hear of anything. And there's a lot more news coming up on WKYT this morning.
A toddler's gone viral on the internet for his Rocky Balboa impression. We'll have more on this when we come back. Oh, that looks cute.
That's pretty cool right there. Today it's warm, it's hot, it's humid, steamy, what other adjective you can use. It's mainly dry. That's the key, because tomorrow and Friday does not look so. Here comes that storm system. We're going to get into that coming up next.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
There is a slight chance of rain now through roughly noontime, give or take a couple of hours. Now, here's the deal with that. It's still a small chance, and you're seeing a few blips here and there, especially down toward the southeast, where you're getting some action going on, down toward Lee County, and also make your way toward Breathitt County and Owsley County. A few blips now popping up there in southern Rowan County, not so much Moorhead, it stays to the south of you. Not so much Mount Sterling and Montgomery County, it stays to the south of you too. So southern portions of Montgomery and also Bath and all the way to Rowan County, just a little passing shower early this morning. And that's going to be the case throughout the morning hours. It's just a possibility of a passing shower. There is not a good chance of rain today. It's a smaller opportunity. So then we get into the afternoon, roughly 90 degrees, give or take, and also pretty humid too. Mainly dry though. That's the good news this afternoon. Let's talk about Thursday and Friday, because that's really our main focus in the forecast. Trying to break that down with some events going on, kicking off there on Thursday. Just know this, you will have a front that's going to be moving through during that time, especially afternoon off into the evening hours. There's 4 p.m. and still some scattered showers, a couple of rumbles of thunder passing on through, and that takes you off into the evening hours too at 7 p.m. Some of these could be strong. There is that potential. No widespread severe weather expected. However, can't rule out a stray cell that could become severe. So that's something to watch out for on Thursday. What about Friday? Well, here we go again. That front does not push all the way through on Thursday or Friday. So we'll have the better chances of rain is going to be Thursday and Friday, and then your weekend actually still with that chance of rain, but not as good. So that's something to keep in mind, that as of right now, it looks like the better opportunities, guys, is going to be on Thursday and Friday, but Saturday and Sunday looks like that front should push through at least a bit. There's still a chance of rain, but definitely not a washout this weekend.
All right, and that the Bluegrass Fair
coming up,
starting tomorrow for 10 days.
Yeah.
100 rides they're going to have this year.
You know, I was out there with the ride inspectors yesterday, so they said they're, they've got quite a bit of ground to cover before tomorrow, especially with the rain, that puts them back.
Right.
And they did request, Micah, from you, better weather.
Better weather, of course.
I heard that everywhere I went yesterday. Tell Micah. Okay, we've told him. 5:47 right now.
Well, a diaper-clad toddler becoming a viral star for his moves, mimicking Rocky Balboa.
He has the moves. Check out the video. Little Charlie's not allowed to watch the fight scenes yet, but this hilarious video shows him totally in sync with Rocky, step by step, as the two train trained together
So cute.
in Rocky 2. Look at that.
Look at him go.
Popular video even retweeted by Stallone himself. With enough training, it won't be long before Charlie might be ready to defeat Apollo Creed, Mr. T, or in the case of Rocky 4, in the Cold War. Remember how that went?
There you go. It's screen time, doing him some good, right?
All right, getting in good shape there.
Yeah. Coming up, you'll get the stories making news right now.
A lot going on this morning. We'll update you, and we'll have health news. Also check on traffic, see what's going on before you head out this morning. So good to have you with us here on WKYT this morning. Welcome back in. It's good to have you with us here on WKYT this morning. Kind of have to get cleared out, ready to go here on your Wednesday morning.
Let's get a look right now at some of the stories working on for you this morning.
A lot going on. Police right now are looking for 2 drivers who took off after a hit-and-run crash in Lexington overnight. The crash happened about 1 o'clock this morning on Whitney Avenue near the Lexington Cemetery. Police say 2 different drivers lost control, one crashing into a house, another crashing into a parked vehicle. They say they are not sure why the drivers lost control.
A group opposed to the new Ark Encounter Park says it's warning hundreds of school districts not to send students to it. The Freedom from Religion Foundation says school field trips to the park would violate the constitutional separation of church and state. Kentucky's education commissioner has told schools that neither outside groups or the state should dictate field trip selection.
Today, Ale 81 Bottling Company celebrates its 90th anniversary. And in honor of the anniversary, the company will be selling a limited edition poster featuring a timeline of the classic Ale 8 bottle. They'll also be bringing back a popular T-shirt from the 80s, which featured a squirrel. Some of you may remember.
Yeah, I love that. Well, funeral services begin today in Texas for the Dallas police officers who were killed in the line of duty.
President Obama was among those who eulogized the men at an interfaith memorial service yesterday, while reassuring the country that racial divisions are not getting worse. The officers were gunned down last Thursday by former Army reservist Micah Johnson during a peaceful Black Lives Matter protest. NASA's Juno spacecraft has sent back its first image of Jupiter from orbit. Take a look at this. The image shows the giant planet and 3 of its moons. Amazing images. Juno successfully began orbiting Jupiter on Independence Day.
Well, now for today's top health stories. Bicycling may be a key way to keep diabetes away. Danish researchers followed more than 50,000 people between the ages of 50 and 65. They found those who regularly rode their bikes had a 20% lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes. And scientists say they figured out why artificial sweeteners can increase appetite. Researchers in Australia say chronic consumption of artificial sweeteners fool the brain to expect the energy that comes from natural sugar. When it doesn't come, the brain demands more calories to make up the difference.
Interesting. That's long been talked about, is that that's a possibility, you know, that you drink diet, you may actually gain more.
Wow.
All right, Quentin Tarantino is counting down a career. Emma Roberts has some nerve on the red carpet.
And the stars of the new Ghostbusters take over New York. Chris Martinez has your eye on entertainment.
Which I have no idea what it's going to look like.
The stars of the new Ghostbusters film were at New York's Empire State Building Tuesday. Kristen Wiig, Melissa McCarthy, Kate McKinnon, and Leslie Jones joined director Paul Feig at the Landmark ahead of the film's big opening. The film is a reboot of the 1984 comedy classic, which McCarthy saw as a teenager.
I just remember being completely bewildered by the mix of comedy and action and how it looked in those four characters. There's something about the unlikely heroes.
The new film features cameos by surviving members of the original. Look for them when Ghostbusters opens nationwide on Friday. Emma Roberts and Dave Franco were also in New York for last night's premiere of their new film, Nerve.
Okay, speed up.
Yes, ma'am. Roberts stars as a high school senior who steps out of her shell to play an online game about dares and soon finds herself caught up in something much larger.
When you're anonymous on the internet, you can say whatever you want, and this movie definitely kind of shows the different sides of that, the good and the bad.
Nerve opens nationwide on July 27th. And someday moviegoers won't have Quentin Tarantino to kick around anymore. The 2-time Oscar winner says he'll make just 2 more films before calling it quits as a director. Tarantino's work includes Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill, and Reservoir Dogs. And that's your eye on entertainment. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Let's get a check right now on today's traffic trail. So let's take a look at live drive traffic.
Yeah, see what's going on as folks get ready to head out on your Wednesday. And here's what's happening as far as your travel times. It's an easy ride into Lexington right now from all of the surrounding cities. As you see, Nicholasville, Georgetown, Paris, Winchester, Richmond, all an easy travel time. And let's take a look right now at the Lexington Fayette Urban County Government camera. Our live drive look at Leestown and Citation this morning. Quiet at the moment, some folks on the move already, and some early daylight out there to travel in. It's going to be a pretty good day out there as far as weather.
You know, that's sounding good to us, Micah. News we want to hear.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is, especially after yesterday where we had pretty widespread rain move across the region. Good news is we still don't expect any severe weather the next few days. And I say any, there's a very small chance tomorrow and Friday, but today it's mostly dry. There are a few blips that go from now through about roughly noontime, so a small chance that you could get a passing shower or a rumble of thunder. Afternoon looks mainly dry and very steamy. So we're going to be talking about that and also that front rolling through tomorrow and off into your Friday. What about your weekend forecast? Well, if you're about to take off, have a great day. If not, I'm going to have that 7-day forecast for you coming up with another hour of WKYT News.